There's a reason Walmart is still packed even when so many Americans walk out looking anything but happy we still have to eat. You can put off buying a car, skip the vacation, cancel a few subscriptions, but when the fridge is empty, every rule has to take a back seat to the grocery bill. And that's where Damon Darling's story starts getting interesting. A guy who regularly pays for customers' groceries ended up being told he was banned from Walmart for life. But that ban was only the spark. Right after that, customers started telling completely different stories, shelf prices, receipts, self-checkout, underweight food, declining quality, and the feeling that they have to double-check everything themselves. But the incident brought out a much bigger truth. Today, we're not just talking about Damon. Today, we're going to hear Walmart customers themselves talk about prices, receipts, quality self-checkout, and what it feels like to be watched and controlled. Watch until the end because you could become Walmart's next victim as soon as next week. It all starts with a scene that's pretty hard to believe.
But you know you're not allowed in here.
Why ain't I? I'm just buying people's groceries.
I know, man. You're not allowed in any Walmart.
Well, actually, the police officer said that isn't true, though.
That's not what the police have to say about it. This is Walmart.
And the store manager said I could be in here. I just spoke to her.
You spoke.
Yeah.
Damon Darling is standing in front of police officers and being told that he is no longer allowed to step inside Walmart, Sam's Club, or Murphy locations. Not for 1 week, 1 month, or 1 year. According to the police officer in the video, it's a lifetime ban. If you only look at that moment, your first reaction is almost definitely going to be, what did this guy do? What made the story blow up was the completely opposite image people had of Damon. He's a content creator who often approaches customers inside Walmart, talks to them, sometimes jokes around with them, and then suddenly pays for their entire cart of groceries. Some people break down crying, some can't believe someone just helped them. And Damon often says his goal is to bring people closer together at a time when so many people are struggling. So when you put the image of a guy paying for people's groceries next to the image of that same guy being banned from Walmart, the headline almost writes itself. And the public reacted immediately. One of the most popular comments asked, "What's wrong with helping people during hard times?" Another person said this was just one more reason not to shop at Walmart anymore. Someone else asked a very simple question. Why should Walmart care who pays as long as the merchandise gets paid for? But this is what caught my attention. Very quickly, the argument stopped being about Damon. People started saying they had quit shopping at Walmart years ago. Others brought up receipt checks at the door. Some complained about feeling watched inside the store. Others started talking about prices, electronic shelf labels, product quality, or times when they felt the shopping experience had just kept getting worse. Damon didn't create those frustrations. He just happened to open the right valve, and when calls to boycott Walmart started showing up, another comment said almost the exact opposite. There would never be a real Walmart boycott because too many people simply can't afford to shop anywhere else. That's when the story became more interesting than just a lifetime ban. A certain group of customers is clearly furious with Walmart, but right in the middle of that anger, there's also this feeling that they depend on Walmart. Still, before turning Damon into some symbol of a corporation fighting against ordinary people, there's one detail that has to be made clear. Walmart says his charity work was not the reason he was banned. The company says the situation involved a history of disruptive behavior and previous violations. And if that's true, then the story spreading online is only showing us half the truth. I'll tell you straight, the thing that bothers me most about Walmart now isn't one camera or one employee standing at the door. It's this whole chain of inconveniences that customers are expected to take on themselves while the store calls it convenience. You walk into Walmart to buy some very normal things, milk, eggs, meat, toilet paper, medicine. But once it's time to pay the work, starts getting pushed onto you. You scan every item yourself, weigh your own produce, look up the code yourself. If the machine doesn't recognize something, bag everything yourself and deal with the screen yourself. If there's a problem, you stand there waiting for an employee to come unlock it. If you scan something wrong, you have to call somebody over again. If the system thinks something about what you're doing looks wrong, the transaction can be stopped for review. Put simply, you're doing part of the job that a paid employee used to do, but your experience isn't necessarily faster, it isn't necessarily easier, and a lot of the time it's actually way more annoying. What frustrates people is that after Walmart gives customers more responsibility, the system still doesn't fully trust them to do it right. You scan your own items, but cameras are still watching the checkout area. You complete the transaction yourself, but one unusual move can bring an employee over to check what happened. You bag your own stuff, but when you reach the door in some locations, you can still be asked to show your receipt. That's where I think the ridiculousness starts piling up. If Walmart wants employees to do everything fine, if Walmart wants customers to do it themselves to save time, that's fine too. But when customers have to do the cashier's job and then go through extra layers of checks to prove they didn't make a mistake or steal something, this thing called convenience starts getting pretty hard to swallow. Think about it, the money has already been taken from your account. The items are already in your bags. You already spent time scanning everything yourself. The machine already had a chance to stop you if something went wrong. But your trip still might not be over. You may still have to stop, pull out your phone or wallet, find your receipt, wait for an employee to check it, and only then keep going. A shopping trip that should be simple turns into a whole series of verification steps. And this gets even more annoying when you put it next to the Damon story. Walmart has every right to tell someone else they can't film customers inside the store, and I understand why. But for regular customers themselves, the shopping experience is going through more and more layers of monitoring, machines, alerts, and checks. I'm not saying Walmart doesn't have a reason to fight theft or protect its property. A massive retail system obviously has to do that. But the problem is that shoppers are directly feeling the cost of all that control. You go there to spend money, but you're expected to do more of the work yourself. You do more of the work yourself, but you're trusted less. And when the system messes up, you're still the first person who has to deal with the hassle. That's what's making the Walmart experience more frustrating for some customers, not one specific rule, but the feeling that everything is being designed to make the store operate more efficiently, while the inconvenience gets shifted more and more onto the shopper. And the biggest contradiction is that even when people are this frustrated, so many of them still come back because the things in their carts are things they simply can't stop buying. I don't know what things are like in your house, but every time I hear someone say, Americans just need to tighten their belts, I want to ask, how much tighter can we go? Eat out less, okay? Stop buying new clothes, okay? Cancel a few subscriptions, okay? But eventually you open the fridge and it's empty, and that great savings plan ends pretty fast. Your kids still need breakfast, older people still need to eat, and you can't call your stomach and tell it to wait until the economy gets better. Looking at her reaction, I immediately understand that feeling, not because one watermelon is going to bankrupt America, it's because you almost never walk into a grocery store just to buy one watermelon. You need milk, eggs, meat, bread, vegetables, laundry detergent, stuff for the kids. One item going up by $1 doesn't sound like much, but when 30 items all go up, you start doing the math in your head when you get to the checkout, and that's what economic numbers often fail to communicate. Washington can say inflation is slowing down. Great. But prices are rising more slowly does not mean prices have gone back to where they used to be. Shoppers don't live on percentages. They live by the number that shows up on the checkout screen. If the TV is too expensive, I keep the old one. If the restaurant raises its prices, I cook at home. But if food gets more expensive, my choice isn't buy it or don't buy it. The real choice is which cheaper version to buy, what to leave out, and which other bill has to wait. This is where financial pressure gets brutal, especially for retirees and families with basically fixed incomes. Rent doesn't ask whether you feel like paying it. The electric company doesn't care that beef just got more expensive. Car insurance, medicine, gas, they all want their share before you even walk into Walmart. And then Americans start shopping like they're running a military operation, comparing prices by the ounce, switching to store brands, hunting coupons, splitting the list between 3 stores, and standing in the aisle, wondering whether they really need that item this week.
Okay, now say some stuff. The total?
$1.55
Okay.
for all of this. Little Debbie's brownies were $1.09. A big yogurt thing was 50 cents. All vegetables were 25 cents.
Oh my gosh.
These are the little Gerber baby foods, 55 cents.
Wow.
A big Baird's large white loaf like of bread, $1.26. Tortillas were $1.50.
How much is it now? Like $4?
Yeah, like 4 or 5. But anything name brand like Gerber, this is 55 cents. Would be like $4 now, if not more. A Diet Coke 20 ounce, like liter, I guess, would be like 75 cents.
This might be the easiest video to understand if you want to know what a cost of living crisis actually means. Just look at how much a family used to be able to buy with the same amount of money, and then look at the cart today. And that's also why Walmart is still packed. It's not necessarily because people love Walmart more. When money isn't tight, you can choose a store based on service or the overall experience. When your budget gets squeezed, the question changes to, where can I make this money stretch the farthest? Now go back to Damon Darling for 1 second. When he pays for a stranger's entire cart of groceries, what he gives them isn't just food. He just freed up dozens, maybe even hundreds of dollars in a budget that already has almost no room to breathe. That's the bitter contradiction of Walmart today. People can be mad at Walmart, complain about Walmart, even want to quit Walmart, but as their wallets get thinner, they end up needing a place like Walmart even more. And once you have to depend on one store to buy things you can't live without, every reason you have to stop trusting that store becomes a whole lot more serious. I don't know if this is some really strange Walmart marketing campaign or not, but if the goal is to make customers walk into the store thinking, "Don't trust anything, check it yourself," then I have to admit they're doing a pretty good job. I'm not talking about anything complicated. I'm talking about the most basic parts of grocery shopping. Is the price on the shelf correct? Is there actually the right amount inside the package? Is the food you bring home still good? And in the end, does the receipt actually match what you just put in your cart? These are things customers shouldn't even have to think about. In this video, a Walmart customer shows a box of rice checks marked at $3.74 on the shelf, but her receipt shows $4.93. She later says she got the difference refunded. This is one specific case at one store, not proof that Walmart is intentionally doing this across the entire company. But my reaction is great, so now besides a shopping list, we also need a good enough memory to remember the prices of 40 items by the time we get to checkout. $1 doesn't sound like much, but the thing about trust is that you don't need to lose a huge amount of money to lose it. You lose it when customers start asking themselves, "What if I don't check?" And then somebody checks something I never thought I would need to check at a grocery store. This man takes a bag of potatoes labeled 5 pounds and puts it on a scale inside the store. The screen shows about 3.59 pounds. Again, this is only one bag and one video at one location, not enough to conclude that Walmart products in general are underweight. But seriously, have we really gotten to this point? Americans go shopping for potatoes and have to weigh the bag again just to make sure 5 pounds really means 5 pounds. That's when this stops being just about saving a few dollars. It turns into defensive shopping. Take a picture of the shelf price, check the receipt, look at the expiration date, inspect the packaging, compare prices on the app. Maybe next time we should bring the kitchen scale too, just to complete the set. And then the problem goes one step further because you can get money back, but food is something you bring home for your family to eat. A customer using Walmart Pickup says that over a period of several weeks, she got moldy blueberries, freezer burned pizza, and then had a problem with chicken. What caught my attention even more was that when someone asked why she kept going back to Walmart, her answer was very simple. There weren't many suitable options around where she lived, and the other store was significantly more expensive. This is the part that really bothers me. Customers aren't just asking whether Walmart is cheap anymore. Some people are starting to ask, is the price right? Is the weight right? Is the food okay? Does the receipt match? A retail brand depends heavily on something invisible. Customers automatically trusting that what they see is what they get. When people start walking into the store feeling like they have to verify everything themselves, Walmart doesn't just have a problem with one box of cereal or one bag of potatoes. They have a problem with whether customers believe they deserve to be trusted. And the bitterest part is that even as that trust goes down, a lot of people still may not be able to turn around and shop somewhere else. In some parts of America, the question isn't whether you like Walmart anymore. The much more practical question is this: if you decide tomorrow that you're never walking into Walmart again, where are you buying milk that night? Where are you getting your medicine? Where are you buying dog food? Where are you getting diapers for your kid? And how much farther do you have to drive to do all of that? That's when Walmart stops being just a store. For a lot of families, especially in small towns and rural areas, it has become part of everyday infrastructure. One roof with groceries over the counter, medicine, clothes, household goods, baby supplies, pet food, car accessories, and just about anything you might suddenly realize you're missing at 8 o'clock at night. And when a business works its way that deeply into everyday life, something very strange starts happening. It doesn't necessarily have to keep you happy to keep you as a customer. You can be annoyed about self-checkout. You can hate the receipt checks. You can question the shelf prices, get frustrated with the quality curse in your car after seeing the final total and tell yourself, this is the last time I'm going to Walmart. Then 7 days later, you park in the exact same spot again. Not because Walmart apologized to you, not because they just earned your trust back, but because your house ran out of milk. That's the part that makes this story feel unsettling to me. A normal business has to compete to keep customers. But if the closest competitor adds another 30 minutes of driving, if another store only has half the things on your list, or if splitting your shopping between 3 stops costs you more gas and another 2 hours of your weekend, then this thing called consumer choice starts sounding pretty theoretical. It's easy to tell people just go to Aldi, and yes, Aldi can be cheaper on some items, but the price printed on a carton of eggs isn't the full cost of buying that carton of eggs. There's gas, time, distance, having to stop at another store because the first place doesn't have medicine toiletries or dog food. A mother with 2 kids doesn't look at a shopping trip the same way someone looks at a price comparison spreadsheet in Excel. A 72-year-old doesn't necessarily want to drive around to 3 different stores just to save $4. Walmart understands something that a lot of online arguments miss. Time is money too, convenience is money too, and distance is money too. That's why somebody can say, I wish I didn't have to shop at Walmart and still go to Walmart. Those two statements don't contradict each other at all. They describe exactly what it's like when somebody doesn't like their choice anymore, but still can't afford to change it. And this is where the slogan vote with your wallet starts sounding a little sarcastic. A family with $80 left before payday doesn't vote the same way somebody with a few $1,000s left over every month does. Somebody with money can turn shopping into a moral statement, drive farther, pay more at a local store, split purchases between different places, and refuse to support a company they don't like. People without money don't buy statements. They buy the lowest total bill their life allows. This might be Walmart's most intimidating kind of power. Not every customer loves them. Not every item is the cheapest. Walmart just has to be close enough, big enough, carry enough stuff, and be competitive enough on price that leaving becomes more expensive than continuing to put up with them. And that's when I think we should stop simply calling this customer loyalty. Loyalty is when you can leave but you want to stay. Dependence is when you want to leave but the cost of leaving keeps bringing you back. If somebody doesn't trust Walmart the way they used to, doesn't like the experience, gets frustrated with the prices, wants to boycott it, but still has to come back the next week because there's no other option that's close enough, cheap enough, and stocked well enough, then Walmart didn't just win one transaction. They've become part of everyday life in a way that even their own customers can't easily escape. And when a business no longer needs you to love it in order to keep you, that's when real power begins. I don't think this story was ever really about Damon Darling. He just happened to touch a crack that was already there. The bigger issue is that Walmart now occupies a very unusual place in American life. Big enough to be constantly complained about, important enough that people can't easily walk away, and close enough to basic necessities that every problem with price quality or the shopping experience starts feeling much more personal. We like to say consumers always have a choice, but choice only really exists when you have the money, the time, and another option close enough to use. So the question I want to leave you with isn't whether Walmart was right or wrong in one specific situation. It's this: if you decided tomorrow that you were never walking into Walmart again, would you have another place close enough, cheap enough, and stocked well enough to replace it? If the answer is no, then that's the part worth thinking about.